All righty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. I hope everybody had a lovely day, and with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, so the show goes on. I'm going to show you in this video, we're going to start kicking off with this, why this market is very likely just going to be dragged higher here and what's going to be dragging higher. All right, SPY QQ here. I'm just going to come over here. The MAGS ETF, guys, MAGS. This is the Magnificent 7 stocks. That's the only thing that's in here. And this is about to break out the new highs, just like it looked over here. Just like it looked over here. Just like it looked over here. Okay. All these times where you broke out the new highs, it's got that look to you. You're getting tight over here. And, you know, if this does fail and you go here without making a new high, this is what falls. Okay, like either way, like your bear case is bullish over here. The dip is going to be limited if it happens, but I'm telling you what's more likely is this is about to break out in the short term here. And since, you know, these are going to be the largest components of the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, then these things are probably going to be continuing higher. All right, that's why I said they're going to be dragged up. What's going to be dragging up? The Magnificent 7 stocks. These guys right over here, okay? We're going to go over the indices, go over the Mag 7 stocks, and then I have some juicy charts in the second half of the video for you guys, okay? All right, let's dive into it. On the upside, SPY, guys, we have 672.68. Above there, 675, 678, 680. On the downside, we're watching today's low at 669.46. Then under there, we have 667.34, which is right around the 9. If we fail there, 665.28, and then 662.37 is right at the 21, okay? If you fail 667.34, you're probably coming down here at 662.37. That's what you watch on the downside, okay? But yeah, like I was just saying, we're probably going to be breaking up the new highs, being dragged up, like I say. Maybe it happens overnight. Maybe we pull back a little bit before, you know, going up there. But yeah, that's like a year-end scenario here. Okay. Coming over to QQ. On the upside, we have 609.36, very close to 610, guys. Above 609.36, we're just talking 610. All right. Above there, above 610, 612, 615. It's really as easy as that. 620 above there. Catching up to SPY. On the downside, we have 606.09. Today's low underneath there, 602.87. That's going to be around your 9 EMA. If we test it tomorrow, that's probably where it's going to be. It's going to be right there, 602.87. If you fail there, we have 599.90, and then more specifically 596.10, which is, you know, right over here. This little low you put in, a little swing low over here on lower time frames. You clear as they see it. And we risk coming back down there. That's you don't want to mess with that. That's the 21 EMA over there. You already found buyers over here. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world, but you know, if I'm just saying, you just pushed up. You want to continue this, you know, get this train going. Maybe they do something like this, okay? Like you want to build something out there. But, you know, really what's just telling me, I don't care how these things look. Like, I mean, the stocks I'm focusing on here, I'm focused on the Mag 7 stocks. And I'm going to show you, we have a lot of hot, juicy setups right now. And I doubt all of these things are just going to be failing and falling flat on their face. Things look like they're in rippy mode right now. And we have a ripper going. And yeah, it's probably going to keep going. And yeah, maybe Mags, you know, the stocks over here, Mag 7 stocks, they might be about to genuinely just like, it doesn't matter about the rest of the stocks. Like they all look great. Okay. So we went over SPY QQ levels. I'm just going to show you DIA. It looks like it wants to push up to new highs. I'm not saying it can't consolidate a little bit, but we did just consolidate. You know, this is honestly like, this is barely, you have one little move up and then you go sideways for a very long time, honestly. You know, you spent most of your, you know, the 3 week, most of your time was spent underneath, you know, right over here at 464.37. Okay. You only have 3 sessions above there, okay? But in that 3 week period here to over here, and yeah, you guys see what I'm seeing. Like that's straight consolidation. I know it looks like you are grinding higher, okay? But like lackluster moves, I think it's probably going to continue. Then you come over to IWM, and I don't really care what this thing does in the short term. People are going to get bearish. I gave my thoughts on my my weekly update there. Look at this thing. This thing is going to explode. If people are bearish on the market, okay, like people think that like a top is even close. I'm just like telling you, newsflash, next few months we're probably still going to be continuing higher. This looks like you can do this, okay? This took 4 months to go from here up to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 40%. I am not saying that's going to be happening, okay? We did come quite a way, but like fresh breakout level, okay? Like we're just going to say it took like 4 weeks here. We'll include this whole thing, okay? 33%. Or not 4 weeks, 4 months, okay? That's what it looks like. And if we do some crazy shit like that, like, yeah, people are going to look real foolish if they're sitting here, you know, just their whole feed is just filled with, you know, bearish things over here. Like, you know, all these bearish people on Twitter, guess what? All right, rude awakening. A few months down the line, you're going to look back and you'll be like, ah, shit. All right. And, you know, if they're good traders, they will adapt and they're going to make their money anyway. But, you know, at the end of the day, hey, some people, they're just pessimists, okay? I like to take the role of the optimist, okay? And that's that. You prepare for, you know, the things not to go your way, okay, the negative scenario, but, you know, you're going to go with the flow and you're not going to challenge things until, you know, they start saying that, yeah, all right, like this is a big uptrend here across the board until proven otherwise. That's all I'm saying. All right, VIX, people are getting, you know, all worked up over VIX. Guess what? Okay, until you get over here, it's not really telling you much. It's not. You want to change your character. All of these are lower lows or lower highs over here on the weekly time frame. You got to take it out. Okay, till that happens, like I'm not convinced this thing's going to be doing much. This is looking like this, and I drew this arrow from lower prices. It was over here. If you want to come trade with me, I'm live every single day. Link is down below. All right, but yeah, you know, now it's looking better than it was before. Over Tesla, guys, we got above, we got back above 450. This thing looks like it wants to go back up to 470, 75, all right? So, you know, I talked about the weekly update there. It still looks like this thing is going to push up this month, October here, after we got last month's close, 2 new all-time highs. And I still think we can get 550. I think that those are my exact words in the weekly update. I know it sounds crazy, but you know, real talk, 1, 2, 3. I know it kind of grinded up 1, 2, 3, and then you pushed highs. Wouldn't it be pretty crazy if everybody got shook out right before? I still think it's not worth trading over other names. I'm going to be completely honest. Okay, you could sit in shares, but as far as options go, like I'm giving you daily winners on a daily basis, okay? Like these things are having massive freaking moves on a day-to-day basis, okay? We're going to go over some of these things, but real talk, all right? What the heck is this thing, okay? What the heck is this thing? Gave it to you down here. Pounded the table over here. And I know it didn't go on Friday, but what the heck is this thing? It's up 30% just today. The heck is that, okay? I'm giving you stuff to focus on. Just focus on the things that make sense, okay? That's all I'm getting at, okay? Tesla, you're not, all right? You don't have to trade it, all right? Oscar's up big time, all right? Big time since we talked about it, okay? Most of these stocks, like we talked about them at lower prices here, and you can easily, you could be trading them when they make sense, okay? And Tesla, I'm just telling you, it don't make sense to me right now. Premiums just are jacked to the tits and makes, it's not worth it, okay? I'll share, I got like, we're talking 5 to 10 A+ setups in this video that you should be definitely keeping an eye on. A few updates, but you know, overall, now I got 10 to 20 really juicy setups here, and you know, you got to pick and choose them in this market, okay? Because there's just so much to pick from. So focus on the quality ones and go for the ride. But yeah, Mag 7 stocks, guys. This is Tesla. I'm thinking all-time highs incoming. Above here, guys, oh, we're talking 470.75 and then 488.54 and then $500 above their 520, 550. Amazon, all right, you swept the low. I'm gonna say this is probably not going to be like over here where you hit it with the big fat red stick over here, hit it with over there. It's probably not going to be like that if we're having this reaction just from sweeping the low there. You now have the 4-hour bullish divergence going on there, okay, from all the way on. It's triple bullish divergence going on all the way up here. I would not be surprised to see this thing, if you take out this high, you're getting this thing moving and grooving up to 230. Okay, because you're taking out 21 EMA, you're probably just going to make it into this area pretty quick. All right, so that's Amazon, NVIDIA over here. I'm telling you, things aren't as bearish as people might think. I understand market pulls back. Don't over leverage yourself to the tits, and you're going to be good, and you're going to realize, oh shit, this happens like every other day in this market. So that's how that goes. And in most markets, like you do most of the time is spent consolidating, and then you have these impulsive moves up or down. That's just kind of how the market moves. Get used to it, Cupcake. Get Buttercup. What is this saying? I don't know, but get with the program. That's how things work. NVIDIA, guys, break and retest, pull back to the 90 MA. Found buyers this morning, guys, off of 184.48. And yeah, on the upside, we have 188.06, 191.05, 195, $200. Apple, all right. Wow, it's doing the turkey tango over here. Yeah, it's going up the highs. I'm not going to give you a game plan for this guy. I think it's going to be pushing up the highs. All I am going to say is that the further away you get from these highs over here is the bigger the discount you get for that move over here. I can tell you, it moves down over here, give it like a week, and it's probably going to be at new highs. It's clearly having a struggle here. You need to bring new participants into the mix. If it does pull into the 21 EMA, I could almost guarantee it's going to go something like this. You're probably not going to fade this thing when it's that close to highs. Like, that's why the battle's happening. People are trying to sell it. They're trying to sell before. Okay, or big players are holding down. I'm not really sure, but yeah. And then people are looking to scoop it up because it's so obviously going to all-time highs here. It's so close. That's all I'm going to say. Like, everything looks like we're going to continue seeing these things drag the market higher. Meta, we talked about in the weekly update. Daily RSI getting down into oversold territory. That's when you start getting 20 to 30 point bounces. Doesn't mean these things put bottoms in. Okay, over here you had 1, you had 2, you had 3, you had 4, and you still took a nosedive lower. So, you know, I was very clear in the weekly update that no, this does not mean bottoms are being put in. Eventually, yes, okay, but you know, I'm just going to tell you, wait for the structure to build out here. You can take your stab at it if you'd like. Okay, you can. All right. At the end of the day, you buy enough time, or you're playing shares. Yeah, buying down here, you chicken winner, chicken dinner. Okay, winner, chicken dinner. That's the saying. Yeah, it looks like this. I'm not saying that it bottomed here. You got a perfect double bottom going on here, but I am telling you, that's what's going to be happening. Expect this to continue. Now, what I'm going to say look for is just wait for this thing to get back above the 21 EMA. Once it does that, and now you know, yeah, you probably do have a bottom, okay? And, you know, see over here how the cloud stayed red? And, you know, the 21 EMA, which is your white line, the blue line is the 9, the red is the 5 EMA. See how price got above it for one session and faded that second session, and the cloud did not flip green? All you have to do is wait for the cloud to flip green. I will tell you when it is, but at that point, we probably push straight back into all-time highs, and at that point, we have the next trending move, and we're done with the consolidation. All right, this is a contraction. There's going to be expansion from this range that we built out here. Okay, let's say this is the bottom. Probably not. Okay, but you might see some action like that, and then boom, bullish divergence. I don't know. All right, we don't know exactly how these things are going to play out, but something like that's going to be happening. I promise. Okay, like that's just how these things play out time and time again. You know, spend a few years in the market. I promise you're going to see the same patterns play out on almost every ticker. Okay, but you also do, you know, like I focus on the Mag 7 stocks. Okay, they're going to be bread and butter like trades that you can always go back to. It doesn't matter what everything else is doing. Every few weeks, they all set up for me. And you know, this week on the focus list, we had Microsoft. Okay. Bada bing, bada boom. Did I know they were going to, you know, have this great news catalyst come out today? No, I did not. Google over here. I don't think there's any news, but I definitely pounded the table on this guy. You know, it's 4 days of consolidation right around the 21. You know, this was the other one. It's like 2 out of, you know, I think 5 or 6 names of the focus list this week. Bang, Monday. All right. You got your trade in if you'd like. Okay. Like every few weeks, I promise, guys, learn the behaviors of these stocks, and they do set up. Now, you know, there are other stocks that I've been trading for a while here. And a lot of the stocks I pitched to you guys, you know, week after week. I'm not saying like same stock, you know, multiple weeks there. I'm saying like give it like 3 to 4 weeks, and I keep reusing stocks because they keep setting up along the trends. You know, everything gets its reversion to the mean. Okay, QBTS, guys, straight up, we've been talking about this thing since over here. Okay, over here, over here, over here. Okay, and like every time it starts doing something, I'm just like, guys, okay, like it's starting to move again. That's what it is. That's all of this, okay? All of this is you just not getting too bored and not looking away. All right, set your alerts. That's what I do, because I do look away, but you got to set your alerts and you wait for things to start moving. You identify the setups. At some point, the higher time frame setup sets up on the weekly and then sets up on the daily. And you just got to be patient for these things, guys. But, you know, that's the reality of things. But yeah, guys, you know, Meta over here, guys, I'm not saying bottom is in. Got to get through 740.91. And then personally myself, for this thing to really confirm to me, this thing is now on its way to highs. Dips are buying opportunities over here for this move to highs. Probably, you know, we're talking 1 to 2 month out cons once we see something set up. I'm talking something like this. All right. Once we, you know, I don't know. Okay. But yeah, once we see this thing pull back into revert to the mean, once it gets this next move, either that or it consolidates around here, probably does not just push straight to all-time highs. It could. All right. But, you know, at that point, you also then have the breakout trade. And like, yes, okay, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, like when we see the conditions that we want to see, okay, we know like this, okay, if it does go straight to all-time highs, that was off earnings. Well, let's just say it does do some shit like that. Well, then you wait for the reversion to the mean and you can still pull a trade out of it, okay? But that's when conditions are in your favor. This is not necessarily like, but at the end of the day, you want good prices. It's probably going to be done, you know, it's going to be over the next like 2 weeks here, okay? Google, we already talked about it, but yeah, you broke out from that wedge today and you broke over 247.64. That's where we mentioned in the weekly update there. All right, 251.65, ran the first target first day. I will point out declining volume, whereas on this move over here, you had the increasing volume. But never mind, you know, look, declining volume over there, you just drifted higher, all right? So the stock clearly just wants to drift higher. So new all-time high is probably going to be incoming in the short term. You can pretty much, not guarantee, but we're going to say like 90% guarantee, 95% guarantee this month. It pushes up to new all-time high, 256.70. Above 251.65, 256.70, and then 260. Microsoft, guess what? Bada bing, bada boom. You got the breakup of 520 today, okay? You broke 521.6. That was that level we were watching over here. You pushed to 526.10, and then next stop was right there at the 0.618 fib, all right? And we have 532.70 as resistance right above, okay? But yeah, straight to 530 we went. That you did. You just needed to knock on the door one more time, okay? But it was very clearly setting up over here. We talked about in the weekly update. I don't care about the news today. I didn't know about the news today. It's just something that goes to show you, like APP. This is a perfect example, okay? Oh yeah, you couldn't have known about the news. What are you talking about? You couldn't have known about it. Well, someone knew about it, all right? And someone unloaded, or multiple, you know, large, you know, institutions or investors, they unloaded, okay, like on a mass scale. So even if you can see, you could say that, okay, and yeah, I know we don't know, but in reality, like something did set up on the chart and someone did know and they showed us ahead of time. Look at this fade, all right, it's almost a 10% fade, you know, from the top of the week to the bottom over there, and it put in, you know, gravestone doji shooting star style candlestick. It's not necessarily the most bullish thing. You're very extended. Weekly RSI is very overbought. So no, you didn't know, but you know, the chart set up before the news because someone out there did know, and they usually do. That's all I'm getting at. All right, charts. This is another example, another rep in your mind that yeah, all right, charts do predict the news. They're not always going to be perfect. There's crazy shit that happens in the market all the time. Okay. But yeah, normally when, you know, the narrative is starting to switch on a stock, the chart is going to set up in a good way, okay? That's like robotics over here. You talk about SCRV over here. I said I like options over here. I think you know, that's the dominant play over there. I'm personally playing it with shares. SCRV, this is the one I want to call is on, all right? This thing's looking beautiful, and this thing looks like a break above 1531. The short term is coming, probably going to be tomorrow. If it pulls back for one day, all right, and then breaks out above 1531 that next session, it's just like over here, and get ready for another 15 to 20% move to the upside. I think it can happen in the short term. I think it looks very similar over here to RR, okay? Except when it was RR was over here. Look at the two next to each other, okay? You had this push, you pulled back, reverted to the mean, and now you're pushing back up. You had this push, pull back for the mean, now you push it back up, and then also pull back, you know, over there. Now you push it back up. You know, even if we're not in this stage over here and we're in the larger breakout sequence here, look at the percent gain in a week and a half. 36%. All right, give me that freaking move over here in SCRV. I'm just saying they're the same market cap, but you know, you ever take like less than $100 million. All right, give me a move like that over here. Like I don't care if it pushes straight up the highs. Like that's all you're trying to pull out of it over here. And this is what I was saying earlier. Like, you know, the Mag 7 stocks, guys, they could be your bread and butter. They're my bread and butter. They're what I fall back on. They're what I track the market with. I track the market with the indices, and then we use those, okay? They set up for us. They give us, you know, a good, you know, finger on where the market's going to be going. All right, like straight up, they're helpful. They also provide constant trade ideas till the end of freaking time. They're not going anywhere. You know, they're the most liquid options in the game, okay? So if you're an option trader like myself, that's what you're going to use, okay? Like consistency over time, there's that. You can easily play all of the other stocks that I have in the second half of this video, which honestly at this point, like maybe that's 2/3 of the video. Probably like half the video. We talk about mags, the Mag 7 stocks, and then the indices in the first 10-15 minutes of the video usually, and then the rest of it is usually all these trade ideas, okay? But yeah, I'm telling you right now, we have a really hot market, and it's a beautiful time to be alive in the market. And yeah, you know, you really do just got to pick and choose them, you know, and focus on the best ones, because you can't get them all. You can, but you're going to spread yourself really thin. It's going to be really hard to track all of them, and yeah, maybe slop your decision making. So, you know, I'm just telling you, you know, personally, 5 to 10, choose 5 to 10 good ones, focus on them. Okay, focus on them. I'm going to share some of them right now with you. Okay, Oscar's definitely on that list. Okay, Oscar's doing really well. I'm not going to tell anybody to buy it here because I pitched to you guys down here when we were breaking retesting for 2 weeks back and forth over here. We were dancing around, and then we consolidated right here. This is where I gave it to you. Okay, now we're up here. Okay, I actually gave it to you on this day right here, and then we did this, and it just got better. All right, and like if I'm pounding the table on something, guys, just pay attention to it. Set your alert. Do what I was just talking about. Set the alert, and then walk away. Don't pay attention until that alert gets hit. You could have set the alert right here. Okay, and then it would have hit there, and no, it didn't go anywhere. But now, put a a resistance line here. Set an alert for that high, and wait for it to be taken out, and then it's probably going to go. Like that's all you got to do. But yeah, Oscar, guys, just broke out in a big way. And me personally, I took off 1017 calls. I got 1121s. They're going to open up over 100% tomorrow, though. This is a big ass move in the after hours there. I know for a fact premiums are going to pump a little bit more than they should there off that gap up. I'm going to take the exit there on at least, most there, but I'm just telling you, I'll just share reasoning here. I this morning looked back, all right, it was yesterday, but I looked back over here and I marked this out on the daily RSI, and I literally just marked it out. And sometimes, guys, backtesting it's this simple, all right? Just put in the freaking work. And what I saw, if you got time on it, like 1017, yeah, you only got a week and a half left, okay? It's like 2 weeks, but we'll say a week and a half. November cons, like that's all I got left. Like I don't care if, a few sessions go by, if I can pull out another like 10-20% of the stock. I'm pretty positive I can here. So I marked it out, and since inception, you've never stopped. Pardon me. You've never tongue twisters. You have never stopped right here when the daily RSI hit overbought territory. You have always continued every single darn single time when you're, down here, and then you run up to it every single time since inception over here. All right. Like you keep not this time. Okay. So not since inception, but 2022, guys, it's a lot of data here. Okay. I was very confident we're going to probably just do the same thing we do every other time, where you do go higher, but it's just a steady grind over the next few sessions. And then right around the corner, you top out. So I figured I'd get 1 to 2 more sessions of upside here after today's close. Well, now we get the one pop over here into the new highs. I wouldn't be surprised if you do end up pulling back over here, and you could take, at least most of your exit here, or take off half or whatever. You get the pullback, and you can add it back at a cheaper price, okay? But take advantage of the premium pump, guys. If you're not selling into these things, I'm just telling you how options work. You got to chase them down, and that's never really the best, thing to be partaking in. It's just not. It's not a good feeling, okay? I know for a fact you're going to be up a pretty penny here. You could have taken 2 month out calls with me, me, and you're going to be up 100, 150%. Okay. You could have taken the 1017 calls with me. And if you, I sold them around 100, but you know, I'm just going to tell you, yeah, you're going to open up. They're going to be like 300% tomorrow. Take the fucking money and run. All right. That's Oscar. Okay. Open over here. I'm thinking this might be starting its next leg up this week. This might be a big winner for us this week. And it can be for you too. And I'm not telling anybody to trade weeklies, but I do think you have this leg up starting this week and you can trade it how you see fit. I personally did not pick up weeklies this time around. Okay. But I got 1017 calls and picked up 1031 calls here. And I do think, yeah, I think this thing is starting to heat up. It got this random, you know, spike over here off of, I think it was them accepting Bitcoin as payment or cryptocurrency as payment. I'm honestly, I'm just a realist over here. That's not the biggest of deals. It's really not. Okay. Maybe people are going to hype it up, but it's not when a company does that, because most people are not going to be paying with that. It's like a company just, you know, it's becoming hip. Okay. And the market's like, yeah, welcome to the dark side. Okay. So, you know, I'm just going to say, I think it is going to be the catalyst that sparked this chart to finally start moving up. But real talk, you know, it's not a crazy catalyst. So just realize that is what you're trading here. But yeah, you started breaking up from consolidation here, guys. You broke above 921 today. I wouldn't be surprised if you get a consolidation tomorrow. Consolidation day, just like over here, and then we continue this bad boy into the end of the week. Okay, so consolidation Tuesday, maybe push Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, this thing gets up to 1344 on this next move. That's what I'm calling for. That's what I'm talking about. If you take this out, it's going straight here. All right, so you know you could get the 10C for next Friday under $1. You get the 10C. Just check what ours are at. Give me a sec. Open, yeah, okay. You know, they're not under $1 anymore, but they're going for 120 something, okay? But yeah, you know, you could get this week's 10C if you really want, okay? You can get those for as little as, you know, 40 to 50 cents right now. That's your lotto trade over here. If this thing does, if you want to put a rack on it and this thing does push 13, guess what? All right, you just turn 1 to 6, all right? Like simple math, keep it simple. All right, and that's that. All right, but yeah, open over here. I think this is going to be a big winner. Look for the breakout over 1055, bring you to 1344. Probably this week it starts up, and I think 15 plus in this next move is probably going to happen. Uber. All right, it looks like it's about to push up the new highs this week. Like we're going to continue the move into next week above 102. We're talking 105, and then 108, and then 110. I don't know if it's going to push straight up there. You keep having these, you know, pansy ass moves over here. And, you know, it's like this name over here, eh? It's just like them. All right. They both, they make you want to pull your hair out sometimes. But yeah, it does look like it's going to pop up to a new high in the short term. So that's Uber over here. And then we talked about Joby. All right. When it started breaking out from this range over here, guys. It's likely going to be pushing into new highs up here, 2095, new all-time highs, and I think that could spark the move to 25 plus. That's Joby. We talked about this guy over here. I said Joby I thought would be the leader, and it's a better one to play, but I did definitely point out we had the inverse head and shoulders pattern over here, and then we had this big move. All right, so coming into this week, yeah, this was one of those tickers we talked about here. You know, I'm telling you, we got the sauce here on the channel. There is always something moving the market. Sometimes the environment is better for it than others. Okay, right now I'm telling you, things are going nuts, and with IWM moving like this, we're going to get so much participation. Like if you have like a theme mixed with the small cap, yeah, things are going to have outsized moves. If you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. All right, Oklo over here, $20 billion market cap. You pulled back. We knew it was very likely going to push to a new high because every time since inception over here on Oklo, every all-time high breakout has been followed by a mean reversion that then pushes up to new highs. All-time high breakout, mean reversion, all-time high, okay? Now you have this one to pay attention to. Well, you broke out right here. It was a false breakout, mean reversion, pushed up to new highs. You did it also there, but that's not what we were talking about with the stat. All right, breakout right here, mean reversion, pushed up to new highs. Breakout right here, this was mean reversion, pushed up to new highs. I do think this is going to keep going higher. If you get consolidation building over here, it's going to get ready for this nice, you know, probably a 20 to 30% move up. All right, I wouldn't be chasing it on the breakout over there, but if you get that consolidation, that's good. Okay, if you get, you know, something like this crap over here and you let, you know, these things catch up the price, you can catch a nice, you know, decent move like that. Okay, that's Oklo. But NNE over here, guys, yeah, this just broke out, and it's a $2 billion market cap, and I'm just telling you right now, nuclear theme is hot. You know, SMR looks like it's probably going to be pushing up to new highs sometime over the next few weeks. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be. Probably going to be this month, though. So the next few weeks we're talking. But yeah, this guy just broke out to new highs today, and I think this is one that's probably just going to keep going. And, you know, this is one that I'm not going to be surprised if this thing genuinely gets up to $100 over the coming weeks. And we're going to look back at it and be like, oh, shit, we could have scooped it up at $50. Damn. You know, he thought it was expensive on the breakout there. Nope. All right. So I'm just telling you right now, nuclear theme is hot. This just broke out. And yeah, as far as charts go, you know, it doesn't really get much better. It does not. Okay. But now we're over here. Healthcare stocks, guys. HIMS. Telling you this month, watch it. Watch it for the move up. People might think that's bearish. I talked about in the weekly update. I think this is exactly what you needed to end this cycle of putting in these lower wicks over here. I was really glad to see this bearish candlestick. People are like, oh, bearish will go with the candlestick, Henry. What do I see, guys? You finally don't have these ugly lower wicks that I know for a fact, like most of the time, you just pull back into those the next candle. And we finally have the chance of building out structure. New structure right here is being built out as we speak. Okay, that's what it did in my eyes. You pulled back, you built some more out, you pulled back 21 EMA talking over here. Okay, now if we could push back up, clear decision being made. That's the structure I speak of. Okay, over here, indecision. Over here, they have a chance to slam it. But what happens? They take it up to new highs. That's a decision being made on the charts. That's those investors that we don't know what they're actually thinking, okay? I can tell you the people with big money. Excuse-moi. Talking too fast, huh? But real talk, you know, I'll tell you, if you do that, we see what they're trying to do. They want to drive the stock higher. And I'm telling you, the monthly chart is set up to do it this month. Weekly, I really like it. Daily over here, probably going to keep building this out. I will not be surprised to see you get back up to 60.55 over the coming sessions here. And we close out with a nice green stick on the week. Maybe consolidation, it keeps building something out. Maybe it looks something like boom, like that, pulls back into this next week and then breaks out and that ignites your move. I'm really not sure, but I'm liking it. Okay. I'm liking it. Keep it on your radar. UNH, guys. It's building something out here, and that's exactly what you want to see. You know, if it just pushes up, anyone who is left behind, like you're not going to get your chance. It's going to go in all big one big push there. This thing we know is very likely going to be heading up. Okay, but like if it builds out consolidation here, it's just giving you a better entry point, just giving you more structure to work off of. Okay, like it's more, the more structure you have built out, the more consolidation that happens, guys. All right, like the more swing points we have built out in a range, like that just gives you more data to work off of. That gives the market more data to work off of, and the decision becomes clear when you have a breakout, when you have that. Okay, so if we consolidate here for another 1 to 2 sessions and then push up, like that's better. Okay. It's strengthening our setup over here on the smaller time frames. Either way, above 368, we're looking for 376.84, 393.11, 49.70. Sound. Oh, baby, it might be sound time. All right, sound time. Today's high, guys, 1890. Got dangerously close, 43 cents away from that breakout level at 1933. I'm liking how the 4 hours is really shaping up over here. I'm thinking it looks very similar over here. And I'm thinking 20-30% day on the darn flipping table over here. And we going to get paid if that is going to be the case. I'm thinking it's going to be the case. It's accelerating. And this is what happens when it accelerates. We actually can get a quick 20-30% move going here. That's 2 sessions, 30%. Give me it. Give me it. Okay? Do it. All right? Bring it to highs. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if it's going to happen, this is a prime time to do it. The monthly chart is set up for a breakout. The weekly chart is set up for a breakout. It's getting tight. The daily chart we could see is also looking like maybe it's going to consolidate one more session and then push. But, you know, over here, it just kind of grinded higher and then bang, you started hitting the jets, okay? I am not sure exactly how it's going to play out, but I could tell you for a fact, these time frames are all aligning for us. and the 4 hour, like all of those, that's 4 time frames. Okay, that's your largest down to, like, you know, what I consider for my trades, you know, the lows. I do consider the hourly, but look at it, it's beautiful. All right, sound, keep it on the darn stankin' radar. Rocket Lab broke out today. Well, it broke out on Friday there. It continued today. I'm just gonna say, broke out to new highs, pulled back, broke out to new highs again, pulled back, reverted to the mean, pushed up to new highs, consolidated for 4 sessions, and then pushed up for the biggest move. You think this is the biggest move? It's probably not. Okay, that comes later on. We're going to have multiple mean reversions for you to I'm talking to you. Okay, you're going to have multiple to take advantage of. All right, so, you know, no FOMO. It's up to you on what you want to do. Nobody can help you out with that. Okay, you really got to pull your own triggers. But, you know, I do hope the info I share on this channel helps you greatly. I really do. I don't think there's another channel on YouTube that does it like we do. I really don't. I give it on a silver platter every single video for you guys. And I hope you guys have a great time in the market. And if you're not, just know there is something you're doing wrong, and you got to fix that. You got to figure what it is out, whether that be your sizing on position. There's something you're continuously doing wrong. If you're not having a good time, like I share so many of these nice ass setups on a weekly and daily basis here. You have no excuse. You have everything on a silver platter. I'm telling you, you just have to pick and choose them. Some are not going to work out. Okay. There's one I was going to talk about today that I honestly forgot what it was, but there was one that, oh, bull over here. I'll just discuss it right now, guys. It's clip. Okay. I don't think the move is happening right now. This is different over here. Okay. If it was just going to be this red candlestick, notice how you didn't take out the weekly low and you pushed up. Okay. Over here, you didn't take out that weekly low after the red candle and you push back up. Over here, you took out the weekly low. You're underneath the daily 21 EMA. You're underneath the weekly 21 EMA. This looks butt ugly and looks like it's going to either stay consolidating and then breaks above here later on in a few weeks, or, I mean, maybe it saves itself, but, you know, more probable, or it just comes back down here. Okay. So, you know, they're not always going to be perfect, but, you know, I'll tell you, the vast majority of the things I share here, like, you could just focus up and, yeah, you could play shares and, you know, pull out consistent 20-30% gains on a lot of these tickers. Have a blast. I hope you guys are. Okay. But Rocket Lab likely going to have those reversion to the means there. And this is a big base over here that's getting a breakout. So I think 70 plus is incoming. I do. I think 60 is probably coming in the short term. I will not be surprised to see consolidation like this. All right. Or a pullback like that before another, you know, decent move up, decent day there. All right. If you see these pullbacks, those are your opportunities along this run. Take advantage if you'd like. I'm telling you, those are your most probable entry points right there. If you want, you know, the odds stacked in your favor, that's the bet. Those are the best ones. Hive. I know I talked about it a little before, but yeah, this thing's freaking exploding. And I think this is probably honestly coming up here, 753. I've been talking about Hive in this consolidation over here, and it did start breaking out. All right, we were talking about it on that day right there. That is the 24th. And we talked about on the daily 21 EMA test right down here. And then we talked about when I think it was on this day right here, on the 30th, before it started pushing up. And then we've been talking about a lot. All right, like, I pound the table on a few stocks. Take note. All right, they're not always going to be great winners, but I'm telling you, I think I do a good job at picking them. I do. But yeah, this thing's moving and it's probably going to keep going. All right. If you keep seeing these consolidations, I'm telling you, there have been stocks, Cypher, Iron over here. Like, you think they can't just consolidate and keep going? They can. All right. Like we talked, I said in the weekly update that we're likely going to hit 55 in the short term. The thing went to freaking $60 here. Okay. It's at 61. What? Craziness. Okay. They're taking off. All right. Behive, Iron, Cypher, BitF. We talked about that, I believe, in the weekly update there. All right. Like, this looks freaking beautiful. And it's likely going to take out 360. I think that's what I pointed out this week. All of these weeks, I think this is what I pointed out in the weekly update. All of these weeks that it does move, like, we have massive moves. All right. And it looks like if you have a breakout here, it's going to trigger another massive move. Like, these weeks are big. Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm not surprised if this thing goes to 460 up there. I'm really not. But these things are moving and grooving right now. Bitcoin's at new all-time highs. Okay. So So that is the thing that's going on right now. I'm not telling you it's just going to keep pushing here. We might consolidate and then push up. Like over here, boom, you swept the highs, okay? And you pulled back for weeks, all right? Like we're talking like 6 to 7 weeks, it looks like. And then you push up to new highs. But I'm going to tell you, these things, yeah, they're moving, okay? The miners are moving right now. They definitely are. I'm going to show you my favorite right here, CLSK. I really like the monthly look on CLSK, and I really do wish I took advantage over here. I didn't. But 100%, this is one that's going to probably keep setting up for us. And I'll point out the next time it's setting up. But I pointed out over here, you got to break and retest. And yeah, honestly, you know, I know it was pretty obvious it was going back to highs. But, you know, I did get in my head that, yeah, they're going to keep selling this thing. I did, you know, but then it just pops so quick, like within a few sessions. Like the narrative completely switches so quick with these things, guys. It really does. So don't feel bad if you missed out. I'm telling you, it did happen quick. Like within 1 week, the narrative completely flipped and Bitcoin was back at highs from lows. So just realize, like, that's how it traded. Pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy, okay? XYZ. I really like what's building out over here on the weekly, guys. We got this bull flag set up, bull pennant, whatever you want to call this thing. It's consolidating and pulled back into the 21 EMA 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row right there, bouncing off of it. And it looks like this thing wants to start breaking up. Above 79 bucks, we're talking 82.5, 87.52, 93.19, 99.26. Yes, I talked about 99.26 because I do think it's going to get up there. I'm not saying it goes straight up there, but I've seen this thing move well in the past. And yeah, it's not, you know, crazy unexpected for this thing to have one of these big, like 20+% moves. And if it does, go straight to highs. Okay. And then it probably gets a bigger breakout because this is a massive base load over here. Look at this thing. It looks like it wants to go crazy, but you got to get up here first. But it starts here with the setup I'm pointing out right now. All right, you want an edge? This is your edge. Okay, you're consolidating. You're getting tight over here. You're against on the weekly time frame. You're against the 21 EMA. All right, on the daily, you clearly see, you know, moving averages. You're dancing all around them. All right, this is compression in its finest form. All right, all you need to do is have a break of structure in your direction over here, and you can take your entry and you can put the stop over here. There you go. It's as simple as that. All right, PLTR. And dude, if you don't know what to do, like I just laid out what you could do on all these setups that I show you, you could probably find a variation of, you know, that game plan that I just pitched to you guys right there. You probably find a variation on every single ticker I talk about, okay? You want to find your best possible edge over here, okay? 21 EMA tests, like this is like your mean reversion. I talk about mean reversions all the time. If you want to get a cheap price and you want low risk, high reward, this is what you do. Or you could take the other approach, okay? I take both of them. It just depends on what's going on. You take the breakout approach, okay? And you structure your trade around that. But it's, you know, you got two shots. You got multiple shots along a run, guys. You know, you don't have to be perfect. But, you know, you see the doji, you see the 21 EMA test, find a candle you like, see a reaction, mark out the high of it. If you take out the high the next session, take a long. Put the stop underneath that low, or you have your psychological stop, whatever you want to do. I don't care. All right. But real talk. Okay. As the trade develops, this is where, you know, it gets really freaking juicy. Okay. Look at this thing. That's 55%. Okay. What did you risk if you took that? 5%. So that's a 10 to 1. That's 11 to 1 risk reward you're talking about, Henry? Crazy. All right. What about the after hours? Oh, we're talking like maybe 13 to 14 to 1. All right. So like, yeah, if you don't know what you're doing in the market, or like I swear I'm dropping gems. You can take notes. All right, like there you go. All right, but yeah, all of these guys are moving. They're all moving. PLTR over here got a nice pop off the lows. People are panicking over here. I did point out the last few, you know, knife candles you had. It got bought up within a few sessions back up, and then you were back off the races. Okay, this looks like it's going to be no different, honestly. Okay, I'm not going to tell you exactly how it's going to go, but nothing's changed over here, and it looks like this thing. Let's just mark out today's high. You take out today's high, 182.95. Sooner or later, this thing goes up to highs. Okay, I don't know if you're going to build something out. All right, and then you pull back, and then wham, you spring load the guy. No idea. Okay, but you know it's going to go something like that, and it's going to be at new highs. Pass. All right, big ass gap up over here, guys. Big gap up. pulled back completely, gave back the entire move, came literally back, filled the gap, and now has another big ass move. This is probably going to continue, and I'm not telling you to trade in the short term, but I just want to acknowledge this weekly chart I came across. We talked about on the gap up over there, it faded it, and now, look at this thing go. Monthly and weekly charts look like they're doing some cool things right now. Big old base going on here, and doesn't have to be like this, but even over here, I think it's a better shot of this thing having a full-on turnaround from over here than you did over here. And I think, yeah, this thing like genuinely can have another 20-30% pop here in the short term. If it's like, we're talking this week, it looks like the fact that you gapped up like this, okay, and you're just already pushing these highs, it tells you you're probably going to continue. Or you build something out and then continue. I don't know. But yeah, this might actually have a big turnaround in the short term. It's starting in the short term. It's going to take a while. All right, so it's going to take weeks to play out. RR guys, continue pushing up. I'm just going to tell you, pushed up over here, got a little bit extended, consolidated for a few sessions, 2 sessions, and then you kept going on. Okay, look for the consolidation. Pullbacks are going to be your friend over here. You can mark out this high. See if we get another break and retest, just like we got a break and retest over this level right here. SCRV guys, I told you guys this is the one I want to, I want to take some options on over here. This looks like, it could play some catch up. They have almost the same market cap at this point. They're both on just under $1 billion there. Yeah, this looks like it's about to get a decent breakout here. And if it's going to be like these last few, then like we're talking, you still get a decent ass move. I'm thinking it's probably going to be at least a 10 to 15% move, even if it gets sucked back down into here. That's, still going to be 2 to 3 points, I'm guessing. So, that's good stuff right there. BMNR. Okay. It's starting to go. I personally pointed out SBET, but I did point out Ethereum over here. It looks like, in the weekly update, it looks like the thing wants to push up the new highs here. And if it does that, then these things are going to start going. And I think a big move is going to happen over here. BMNR above 64.25. Like this is a change of character over here from over here to here. Yeah, this thing could get moving and grooving up to 71, 74 pretty quick. And I doubt it's going to stop there. This looks like this could be a big weekly candle that develops here. All right. We've seen big ones. This one over here, 32%. This is 7%. Okay. Imagine if this thing gets a big old stick and gets up to almost $80. It's currently at 63. BMNR. I personally just want to say SBET over here. It's going to move with it, but it didn't show today that it's not going to be moving well. So yeah, I personally, I'm switching. All right. BMNR is the better pick here. This is a sexy breakout. All right. As far as charts go, like this looks like sex. Okay. This is kind of cool. But at the same time, I'm just telling you clear as day, this is showing you, it's shoving in your face that, hey, you're wrong. This thing's moving. Focus on me. Okay, so there's that. They both look good, but this looks clear as day better. It's got the momentum in the short term. TEM, I think a breakout is probably coming above 97.79 this week, and I think 110 plus can trade this week. All right, I think it's not going to be long here. If we get this going, we could be 130, 140. I know, crazy. We're at $90, Henry. What are you talking? Are you crazy? Yeah, I'm a little nuts. It's okay. Grab. All right. We talked about it when it was pulling back. We said it's your buying opportunity. You're pulling back to the 21 EMA, and now it's pushing back up the highs, guys. I give you gems here on the channel. I really do. Most of these things move so freaking well. But yeah, all right. Almost got the break and retest 572. Push back up. It's likely breaking 661 the short term here. This is the weekly chart. Look at the monthly chart. All right. This month, this thing probably gets up to 764. That's your next spot over 661. Okay, right there. QS, guys, pay attention to the pullback. All right. The fact that it is behaving like this, though, tells me it's probably not going to push up tomorrow. Probably going to have another pullback day over here. And I think we get an entry point off of 1503. We'll see about it, but that's what I'm looking for. I think this thing has a big move loading here. This just broke out from a big, monthly base over here, above just about $14. It's, right over here, 1386. That's the big boy. And then you have, the most recent level, 1503. Both levels you could have marked. You got your breakout here. Like, this is a big move waiting to happen. I don't know if it's going to wait till earnings. I don't think it is. But yeah, 110%. This thing looks like it can move. Focus on it. Pay attention. MP looks like this thing wants to be pushing back up to all-time highs, guys. Weekly time frames looking pretty smexy over here. 75.60 is the level to watch. Break above there. 82.5 can come quick. I don't know if it pushes straight back up or puts in another week of consolidation, but you do have a clear as day inverse head and shoulders pattern going on here. And, you know, screw the pattern, okay? You have a lower low compared to over here, followed by a higher high, and then a higher low. And now if you push through a higher high again, you have a full-on trend, like you have a reversal out of this range over here. Like you are, it's a break of structure. You're going, okay? So yeah, I think another move out of MP is loading over here. Look at this monthly chart. Look at the weekly chart. It's looking gorgeous. Look at the daily chart. This is when the best trades come together. The most powerful moves come when all these time frames are aligned. Look at the 4 hour. It's all curled up over here. Pulled back 21 EMA. Guys, this thing is going to move in the short term. MP. RCAT, I pointed out on the weekly update there. It looks like a big move is right around the corner over here. Look at this monthly chart. This thing could freaking explode. Looking gorgeous. Gorgeous. Netflix. Okay, this is the last one I have for you today. Before we go over Netflix, I'm going to point out CRWV, guys. Weekly time frame. I know it's coming down right now, but do not be surprised if this thing does close the week above 160. Yeah. You heard it here first. You probably heard it other places because everyone's talking about CRWV the past few weeks. But I'm telling you, now that it's been, shaking everybody out and behaving like dog crap over here, yeah, a lot of people are not talking about it. So I like that personally. And I think maybe we get a surprise catalyst sometime this week that gives you a pop. Either way, I'm watching for it to, bid up this little pullback we're having here to start off the week into the bottom of the range. Crazy stuff. Swept the high, came right to the bottom. That's another little golden tidbit, guys. You sweep the high of a range, all right? What usually happens next is you target the bottom of the range. If you sweep a low, a target, an immediate target, is you go straight to the top of the range. That's just, it's a rule. I can't really explain it. I can't. It's what happens a lot of times on charts. But Netflix, guys, I'm telling you, this thing is probably turned around right here. And if we can get this thing back above the 21 EMA, reclaim, really just get above $1,200. Okay. If you get above $1,200, I think what follows is over like 2 to 3 weeks, you get straight back up the highs. Look at this over here. All right. Sweep of the low right here. All right. Sweep of the low. We're going to mark that out. Well, we have a similarity. Daily RSI is almost in oversold territory. What do we have over here? The same exact spot. Okay. Like I was talking about the edge thing earlier. Guess what? You don't got an edge. I point out plenty of edges that I personally use myself that are on, like they're all up in these videos. Okay. Just steal them. Okay. And sometimes it is as simple as going back. I told you what I was doing with Oscar over there. Why did I have that reasoning, that thought process? Why did I want to hold for another few sessions here? Because I knew, you have enough time where theta is not going to be affecting. You're probably going to get a big move. Just realize this is a 50-minute video. That's okay. We got some banger setups we're talking about right now. I think I'm sprinkling some golden tidbits in there as well. But yeah, it swept the low over there, guys. Most of the time when you're going to be continuing to fall over there, you're not going to have a bullish reversal, going on here. This is 3 sessions here. There's a 3-day range, 2 of which are, massive lower wicks here. If you actually start turning around this cloud here, if it flips green, all right, you get back above the 21, you get above $1,200 over here. Okay. Cloud then flips green. Solid shot that this consolidation is probably over. It's coming to an end. And if it's going to move just like over here, it goes straight up vertical into new highs. Like this is a big move. Like down here to up here, 18%. Down here to up here, 30%. The thing has legs once it wants to move. And I think it might be right around the corner. Keep it on your radar, guys. That's what I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it is a longer one, 53 minutes. Crazy stuff. 54 about to be. But yeah, we cover really good stuff, and I'm telling you, this channel is all you need to really have a good time in the market. There's obviously there's amazing resources out there. Okay. There's some people on Twitter I follow that they're just absolute gems. Okay. There's this one guy, Za Stocks. I honestly, I respect the guy's work. There's some people's work I just got to absolutely respect. There's some people's charts that I got to just respect. This guy followed me today. This guy's name is like Chartmaster, I'm pretty sure, on Twitter. Yeah, I just respect his work, okay? Some people, you could clearly tell they got good work, okay? They're out there. I'm telling you for a fact, I do share my good work. I think it's good work. I share all my work for free over here. Not all of it, but, you know, that's majority of, you know, me scanning markets. I try and, you know, just help you guys out, and, you know, as the time goes by, and I try and explain the reasoning behind things, and I genuinely hope it's helping you guys out as traders. And over time, if you spend enough time on my channel, you know, give me 2 years of your time, I hope you start making a decent chunk of change in the market. I hope you genuinely get really fucking good at this, okay? But yeah, that being said, if you want to come trade with me, link is down below. Please remember to leave a like on the video. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.